Hello everyone, Lily here. Welcome to my channel, and for those returning viewers, welcome back. And today, on this snowy day where I'm living, we're currently in the middle of a snowstorm. I thought I'd do this video that I've been thinking about doing for quite a long time and just never got around to doing it. And I thought that today was the day. And what I'll be doing is a deck comparison of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck with the Pamela Coleman Smith deck from Scarabeo, lovingly referred to as the Dirty Pam. And I've had this deck in my collection for a couple of years. I didn't jump on the bandwagon right away when it came out, and I was seeing videos about it all over the place. For some reason, I actually waited quite a bit. And then, well, you know, as you do, one day I was just looking for something to buy, and I ended up purchasing this deck. So it's not one that I'm planning on keeping in my collection, as will be obvious from my commentaries, but anyway, so here goes. So this is the box, and for anyone looking to buy this deck, it's currently out of print, this particular version of it. And one of the tells, if you actually see this deck, one of the tells that this wouldn't be the Dirty Pam is the color of the table. You can actually see that the table, I think, is red on the boxes of the non-Dirty Pam, and the yellows on the box is actually like a straight yellow, just like the Magician in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So let's get into it, shall we? As you can see, the decks, the backs of the decks are different. This is the US game, which is the plaid back that everybody knows about, and this is the low Scarabeo Dirty Pam backs that they chose to use. I know that the lily and roses are traditional. I'm just not sure if those colors are traditional. And as we can see here, this is the reason that it's called the Dirty Pam. If you look at the colors here, the paint job that they did, actually they muddled a lot of the colors, and in this one actually it does look like a dirty yellow with little shades of brown or taupe or whatever you will. And this is an example like of what my focus was when I looked at these cards, and what I actually pay a lot of attention to when I get a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, because I actually like recolored decks. I actually do. My problem with them, and the reasons why I don't keep a lot of them, is that they redraw the lines, and sometimes something is lost, and this is a good example of it. If you look at the Fool here, they redrew the lines, and the face looks different. It actually, you know, like the neck is too long, the face is too small. There's something that was lost in the expression. The rest I'm not too bothered about, but the thing is, you know, like here, even with the technology they had way back then, like you can see there's a lot more detail in the dress here, you know, with some of the lead details that are just lost. Most likely because the lines are too big. So and here we get into the Magician, and again, this is, you know, the coloring. I actually like the coloring a lot, but the lines over here and the flowers are not as delicate, or even the cap, the dress, you know, his toga in his robe, and his face it's actually, you know, even though it looks like the size of the face is almost the same, the thicker line does something to the expression. And again, you know, like the line work over here is, you know, it's thicker lines, although it doesn't look too bad. You tend to see more of the black than the green and the reds. And as I go along, I'll probably just remove the cards from the decks just to look at it, and I'll only be stopping when I have something to say. So, and again, you know, here we are with the High Priestess, and it's the same thing. You know, the lines are so thick, you can barely see the fabric that's supposed to be behind it. You know, the seeds. This doesn't look like a pomegranate. It looks like another fruit that the name escapes me right now. The Impress is actually one I actually like. I think they actually did a good job on this one. The line work isn't too bad. The facial expression looks good, although I don't know why there seems to be a stain on the face here. The coloring looks good. So that is actually one of the cards that I like in the deck, and it's probably one of the ones I like the best. And here's another one where the face is a little bit smaller. So instead of eyes, you know, you just see the blobs. They've actually repositioned, it looks like, the chariot further down on the card. Some of the eyes here, actually, you know, even though I know they're Sphinx, that they look weird. This one is another one that actually they did a good job on, I think, especially with the coloring of the lion. This looks so much better than this. And here's another one where this card was, I thought, was poorly executed, again because of the face. But the colors between the veil and the robes, they're practically the same. And if you're trying to recolor the deck, like, why did you pick those two colors? Why not pick something else? Here again, I think it's a question of coloring. Even though I'm wearing my glasses right now, I can't see what this face is doing compared to this one. And this one, the coloring, again, you know, they left the color of the face practically the same color as the robe. So we can't really see what this person is thinking or screaming or whatever they would be in that situation. Here we have the world, and this facial expression is compared between the two is, I find that this one, she actually looks sad compared to this one. It's like she's regretting being where she is. And I don't think that was the intention, because you know, this woman is on top of the world. She's mastered what she had to master, and it looks like she's looking behind with regret. Here's another one of those cards where I find there's a marked difference between the faces. It looks like they made this face shorter. They've also beautified her. But I find what was lost is the sense of aloofness that she has here. Which, again, depending on what you're reading, you know, could make a difference. And then there's Mangy Cat, which, you know, they beautified here. And one of the things of the Queen of Wands is she thinks she's really beautiful. So there's no way she wants to be outclassed by a cat. So I actually prefer this one here. And here is one of those cards that also, what they did to the image, the facial expression in particular, is he lost his fierceness. In this card, and there's also the hand gesture here, like in this card, he's clearly ready to make a fist. And whatever he's hearing, he's not happy about. Where here, that is completely lost with the benevolent face that he has here. And they've actually changed the hand gesture so that doesn't look like he's ready to get up and go beat up someone else. Same criticism as before. Blobs for a mouth and eyes. In here, there's hardly any facial. Like we can see the eyes, but again, they look more like little blobs. The eyes here look unnatural compared to here. Here I find they distorted the face to something that looks unnatural. And at the same time, they also changed the expression, which I think, like here, she doesn't look unhappy, but she looks kind of bored. Where here, well, I don't know, she looks kind of sad to me, even though she's surrounded by everything. So, but again, there's something, I don't know, it looks more like they put on a mask on her here. Although I guess you do have a little bit of that expression here, but it's more prominent here. The only comment I'm going to be making about this card here is that here I find he stands out from his chair, where here he's kind of blends in and he's harder to see except for his face. Not sure if that is intentional. And here's another one where the expression changed in the sense that here the Knight of Swords looks angry enough to go on his quest, where here he looks like he's almost afraid to be going out. And then we get to the litmus test for me when I look at a deck that's been recolored for the Rider-Waite Smith, and this is the King of Swords. There's something about this facial expression that reminds me of those posters we used to see. Actually, they might still be available in the US, and would be these posters for recruiting people in the army, and you'd have a picture of Uncle Sam with the words next to his face saying, "I want you." And when I look at this King of Swords, that's always the expression or the thing that comes to mind, where you look at this face and you're not going to be arguing and win with this guy. Not that he's not going to listen to you, but if he's in the right, you're not going to win. Where this guy looks like he's almost afraid to look at you. I would actually say, you know, he's a mealy-mouthed bastard. I don't know exactly how to say it. Like there's something that's been translated here that didn't translate well. and he lost his fierceness, just like the King of Wands. Like there's something about the personality that got lost. Here, it's, you know, it's the same thing about the thicker lines for the facial expression, and I guess you could see it a little bit here, but here she looks angry, which, you know, and he looks like he's asking for forgiveness. So that's another one where the facial expressions, I think, you know, this facial expression is not appropriate for the Two of Cups. This card here, although it's not terrible, it looks actually pretty good, but I find that they went way too dark here, and they could have left it a little bit gray like this. And here we are to the last card, and again, one of the kings, they did something to the face that looks unnatural in this card. If I looked at this guy, actually, I don't think I'd trust him, because his facial expression, his big eyes, he looks kind of crazy. It's actually kind of scary when you look at this. And one thing that just as I was pulling the cards out, I noticed is that these cards are actually a different size. Like there's a few, I don't know, 1/3 of it, 1/8 of an inch maybe. That's outside, so I guess that could account for some of the distortions or why they had to redraw some of the lines. There you have it. This is the side-by-side comparison with my comments on this deck. As you could probably guess, this is a deck that I do not intend to keep in my collection. Although there are, you know, I actually like the coloring, and there's a lot of the cards that I actually do like. I dislike the facial expression distortions and the thick lines even more. So it's sort of a close call, but it's balancing towards me getting rid of it. So if you have any comments, I'd appreciate hearing what you have to say, and or continue the discussion. And with that, I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to wish you have a good day.